everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, a 2017 comic book movie sequel that is the latest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a film I just had a ball at. Now, do I think this movie is perfect? No. There are things about it that I didn't particularly care for. One, I was disappointed in the soundtrack, to be honest with you. I loved the soundtrack to the original film, and there was definitely some great soundtrack moments in this movie, but overall I thought the quality kind of dipped a little bit. It was a little bit less fun. It was still pretty great, but a little bit less fun. I did enjoy the way that they worked in some of the lyrics to one of the songs in this movie later, but aside from that, I was a little tiny bit let down by the soundtrack. I thought that there was some of the plot was a little bit iffy. I thought that there were some characters that didn't get a lot of the greatest moments. Like one of my favorite parts in the original movie was when you kind of found out the backstory of Drax. And in this movie, there's a couple of very brief moments where they touch on that, but Drax is much more used for comic effect, and he was in the original film as well, but I like the fact that they were giving a bit of both. There are other characters in this movie that I feel like kind of take a little bit of a back seat. I thought Baby Groot, I actually was kind of happy that he didn't play nearly as big a role in this movie as I thought he would, because of how popular he was coming out of the last movie and how big of a merchandising behemoth he was. I thought that they might shove him down our throats. They didn't, but I also could have honestly gotten a little bit more of him in it. And I thought that there was some characters introduced that I should have had a little bit more of feelings towards, like Taserface, for instance. He was interesting. I enjoyed him, but yeah, he was pretty forgettable. Could have done without him. And Mantis, I thought, had some really great moments. I really liked the way that they set the character up, but at the same time, you know, I didn't necessarily have that much affection for her. That aside, I thought this movie was just a load of fun. I personally am a gigantic Kurt Russell fan, so having him join the crew was just awesome. I loved where they took him. He played a very major role in the plot of the movie. It was set up pretty early on, so I don't feel like this is a spoiler. He is Peter Quill, Star-Lord's dad in this movie, and to see the way their relationship builds and where it ends off, I thought was fascinating. I really liked the way that whole arc was written. I thought that was great. I thought the effects in this movie were incredible. Just so good. I loved there were some great character moments in this that I loved. Like I loved a lot of the interactions between Star-Lord and Nebula, or not Nebula, sorry, Gamora. I thought that all that stuff was great. I mean, really, this movie, the core of it, actually, much to my surprise, was Yondu. I loved Yondu in this movie and the way they portrayed him. I loved a lot of the stuff that they did with Rocket. I loved the way that they really had him come to realizations about the way he acts. I loved all that stuff. I was a little bit weak on Mantis, like I mentioned before, but I thought the way that she interacted with some of the other characters was great. I just thought I could have gotten a little bit more from the character, on a little bit more of like her backstory and a little bit more of who she is, not just what she's been doing. That's why I thought that the character could have been done a tiny bit better, but I still thought that was great. I loved some of the moments where Rocket had his gadgets and he was taking on the Ravagers early on. I thought that was just so entertaining. I thought the interactions between Gamora and Nebula were largely really good. I kind of felt like there was a bit of a leap where all of a sudden things really kind of turned on a dime, which I thought could have been done a little bit more smoothly, had a little bit more subtlety to it, but other than that, I thought that their whole thing was great. I loved a lot of the moments in the post-credit sequences, or the during the credit sequences. Stan Lee's cameo I thought was just amazing. I loved the way that they played on the very popular theory about him. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to reveal anything to anybody, but I just thought that was hilarious. The reveal of a character that is going to be set up for a later film, I was just like that was great. I mean, I just thought there was so much in this movie to enjoy, and it was just such a good time. I thought a lot of the humor worked great. I loved where they took Groot by the end, where there was a moment with him and Star-Lord that was very interesting. I loved the way, I thought it was very fascinating the way that they were playing off of one another. I mean, it was largely played for humor, but the way in which they were interacting was new and different. I thought that was really, really cool, and they better not just drop that going forward. I thought Stallone was played a very pivotal role, which I thought he would be much more of a cameo, and he's not in it a lot, but it was very cool to find out who he was, and I had no idea who his character was supposed to be and where that led in the final moments of the film. I thought that was great. This movie had me almost crying in moments, which I was just completely taken aback by, which, I mean, I shouldn't have been really at the end of the day, because I felt the same way in the first film, especially with that opening with the mother, and a reveal that takes place in the latter part of this film that has to do with Peter's backstory. When I realized it was about to happen, just before it was actually said, I was like, oh no, it can't be. And then when it was said, I was like, oh man. I mean, I just had like a visceral reaction to those moments. I just had a really, really good time with this film. I like I said before, don't think it's perfect, but I loved it. I just had such a good time. I really, really want to see it again. I mean, what more can you ask for a movie that you just want to see it as soon as it's done? I can't think of anything else. So those are my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you've seen it, if you're excited for it, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people might discover this video, and that would be awesome because I love talking to people about movies. And if you are new here, or just if you haven't done it yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when I put out a new video. You can come and join the conversation, and that would just be something I'd be super, super excited for. Other than that, have yourself a good day.